Hi everybody, Wave 3 News Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with a Hokey weather video blog update for you on this Sunday morning, the 24th of July. Man, we are starting out hot this morning. I swear, I got out the door at 2:45 this morning, opened the storm door, and my goodness, it was like a brick hit me in the face. I mean, this humidity is unreal. 75 is the current dew point. We'll explain that dew point to you here in just a second. Let's get first to today's Hokey weather fact. Maybe your wife or husband has you a to-do list of things you need to get done outside around the house today. Well, you can kind of stick this in their direction. When the temperature hits 95, which is going to be our high temperature today, those working outside are 45% less productive, and get this, 700% less accurate in their work. Isn't that crazy? So you're about half as productive and about 7 times less accurate in what you're doing when the heat is that bad, 95 degrees. That comes from our friends at NASA, by the way. They conducted a study. Interesting little fact there. So if you're working outside this afternoon and having trouble getting things done, that's probably why. The heat really slows you down. Weather headlines. Another hot day up to 105 for the heat index today. Isolated storm chance possible. I mean, this stuff's going to be few and far between. We're watching for a couple storms that may move into our southern Indiana counties overnight tonight. I don't think that'll be a big deal, but this time of year you need to watch for sometimes thunderstorms that like to move in well past their what I call expiration date that the computer models gave them. And, that happens from time to time. We saw that Thursday morning around here. So we're going to keep that small storm chance tonight, but tomorrow is when the storm chance really blossoms. We see scattered thunderstorm chances through this week. Heavy rain, gusty winds possible just about each day. Beautiful view from our Kentucky One Health SkyTrack camera now. You'll see the temperatures really didn't move much overnight. 79's been our low so far here in Metro Louisville. We stayed at 80 for a couple hours. I thought maybe we would stay at 80 for the entire morning, but we dropped 1 degree below that, so at least my forecast was right on par because we had 79 for the overnight low last night. But otherwise, I mean, it is just absolutely sticky, nasty, dense, humid, gross, whatever other adjective you want to put in there. 75 is the current dew point. Look at Paoli, 77. This may not mean a lot to you. You may think the relative humidity, that percentage, is what you want to see. That's not true because it's very high percentage of humidity this morning. But when you get into this afternoon, once the temperature rises more above the dew point, that percentage actually goes down, even though it feels just as gross. So that's not a good measure of humidity. You want that dew point. Here's what that dew point means. When it's 75 or higher, it's oppressive. And that is exactly the word I would use to describe this morning's feel outside. When we get below about 60, that's when I start to go, it's not so bad out here. So we call that pleasant. All right, so that's the dew point for you. Clouds have moved in overnight thanks to some of these thunderstorms that we had in northern Indiana, I should say, during the overnight hours. Some of these storms in Michigan are trying to surge southward toward the Grand Rapids area up there. They've got a severe thunderstorm warning. That's all near a warm front. There's not much of a trigger for us today. That's why these pop-up thunderstorms will be few and far between. We're kind of on the edge of this big flat ridge of high pressure over the southeast, and that's trying to keep things relatively dry, but it's piping the hot, humid air in here. I mean, that's just the kind of the side effect of having the clearer weather as opposed to some of the previous couple weeks that we've had stormier weather. But the stormy weather continues as we head throughout this week, unfortunately. So today is one last drier day. That's why it's going to be so hot. You see by 12:30 already at 91. There's our 95-degree high temperature at 5. A couple of those isolated pop-up storms. It looks like eastern Kentucky and Tennessee will be favored today for those, kind of like yesterday, had a few pop-ups near this I-75 corridor just south of Lexington. Then by tonight, we clear things out for the most part, but a few clouds will start to roll in from the aforementioned thunderstorms that we may just see a few pieces of overnight in our southern Indiana counties. This is the first run of Futurecast all morning that we've seen that's even tried to take some of these showers and storms into Seymour and North Vernon. They would be just a couple of showers. No severe weather expected overnight. Go to sleep soundly. You may just wake up to a rumble of thunder or two if you're just well north of the city around 2, 3 a.m. We'll see about that. The morning should be dry for the commute, but we'll watch a few additional storms to our north that may try to develop during that time, see if they can get going. It'll probably be the afternoon, though, that we see most of our storm activity tomorrow. Heat advisory has been extended through this evening. Now, we did chop off a few counties east of 65 earlier this morning after this was issued. So it's west of 65 and north of the Ohio River that are under this heat advisory. This is just because heat index values may briefly touch 105 degrees for a time. That's kind of a magic number for the National Weather Service in Louisville. That's their criteria for issuing these, because that's when you start to get into this dangerous heat category where you're outside for only a few minutes, you start to sweat, the dehydration can be easy to come by when you start doing that, and the sweat doesn't go anywhere, so it doesn't cool you down. Heat exhaustion, heat stroke, those things start to play into what you could experience if you're out there for too long and not being properly hydrated and cooled. So just be careful out there today, all right? The 7-day breakdown, 95 degrees, the aforementioned high temperature for today. Blues, brews, and barbecue continues for one more day till 7 o'clock tonight. 94 by 4 p.m. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water out there. I know they sell other things. They've got some good brews out there for sure. But make sure you play that off with some water too, because we want to make sure folks are hydrated out there. 91 by 7 p.m., by the way. Still hot by the time the event's wrapping up. On our Monday, 92 degrees for the high temperature. Here's Futurecast with some of those isolated to scattered thunderstorms during the afternoon. And I think it's finally got the right idea on temperatures. We get to 92 early, and then the rain-cooled air and the cloud cover kind of limits our heating for the rest of the day. So we may not get above that 92 once again for the afternoon. This is, again, the first run that's actually locked onto this idea, too. This is a pretty good run of Futurecast you're seeing here. I agree with a lot of what it's doing, and some days that's hit and miss. Kind of like the thunderstorms that we're going to see today. Tomorrow's severe weather threat is mostly over southern Indiana, above the I-64 corridor north of there. Marginal risk of severe weather, that's not a big deal. It just means a couple of these storms may be strong. Maybe we squeeze out a severe thunderstorm warning out of this. There's not a lot of upper winds to keep these storms going, so that's going to play against that. 40% chance of thunderstorms on Tuesday, most of those south of the Ohio River. Wednesday, this is my pick of the week. It's the Coldplay concert at the KFC Yum Center. I'm not sure if they've never been here before or if they haven't played here in a very long time. I've liked Coldplay now for 7, 8, 9 years. And they haven't played a concert here as far as I'd known in that time. But, they were popular back in the late 90s, too. And that's kind of before I was cognizant of music. I'm sorry if that reveals my age. Apologize for that. 87, though, by 7 o'clock. If you're heading out to dinner early, it's going to be hot out there. Temperature's near 90 degrees. And then by the time the concert lets out, as you're heading home, trying to find your car again, I think temperatures will be in the upper 70s, so a little cooler than the previous few nights at that point, but still fairly muggy. A lot of moisture left in that air, and that's going to keep those thunderstorm chances of the scattered variety going the entire week. Temperatures may touch 90 on Wednesday, but in general, I think upper 80s will be the rule for the most part of the work week, and then maybe some mid-80s by the weekend, seeing some signs of some cooler air trying to intrude in here. That's a good thing. That's what we want to see in the first part of August. So that's why I've kept us in the 80s, I should say, the last part of the month through the first part of August. The 90s return maybe briefly, and then it kind of gets ambiguous and iffy from there on temperatures. But I do think that the isolated storm chances will continue each day just because of the pop-up nature of things. It is summer, so that's a summertime, climatologically sound weather forecast right there in terms of what we normally see this time of year around here. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm back tonight at 6 and 11. We will see you then on Wave Through News. Enjoy.